Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America, please?
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order.
We will continue this
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
What I have to do is I have to get the workers back. I have to get the factories open. We have 90,000 factories and plants are closed from what you had just prior to NAFTA.
An explosive day in Congress. Pronouns, introductions, flying all over the place. Nobody knows what the heck is going on, and the hearing went off the rails. Here is what happened. Now, as you can see from this panel, if we go left to right, we can identify also a puppy up here. So what we can presume certain genders, right? We could say this is a male with a pup. Male, 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 female. Representative McBride is on the end. Now, here's what happened today during introductions.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply...
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America, please?
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
All right, it's over. Thanks for coming today. All right, and did you hear McBride call him madam? You heard that, right? So Mr. McBride is the name that's being called, and Representative McBride just misgenders him. Thank you, Madam Chair, is what Representative McBride said. You can hear that right at the beginning.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Right? Okay, that's settled. They can both insult each other. This guy comes into white knight for some reason, and the whole thing just goes totally nuts. So you can see things are getting rocky out there in Congress. Now, we have more because Alina Abba was also making her way around Biden's old White House. You remember this little gimmick that they had going, this scam, where they would bring Joe Biden out of the Oval Office and they'd shove him in this little weird studio. And I've heard multiple theses for this, that the studio was really built because it could make him look better, right? They could adjust the lighting, they could adjust the makeup, they could adjust the sound. It was a little bit more of a closed environment. There's like no windows, right? Windows are difficult for lighting. I'm constantly kind of fighting it, but it was a more controlled environment. But I have another thesis too. I think the idea is that freed up the Oval Office, right? They can actually do business without Joe Biden there. Having people come in and out and just shove him in some other room with Hunter doing lines of crack on the Resolute desk.
You guys, I just finished a show. Look at the room that they put me in. We're in Biden's fake Oval Office, everybody. And I've actually figured this out. I now know why. I now get it. Turn the camera around. There is a screen, teleprompter to the face. All I can say is the last administration was a disgrace.
Total disgrace there. Thank you, Alina Abba, for giving us the nice tour. So you can see it's an interesting little tour, right? It's pretty decked out. They got lights all over the place, right? See all those lights, a really nice control room, production room, and they can just drag Joe Biden out and just shove something right in his face. Here, Joe, just read this stupid script and then throw him back. You remember Joe Biden? First of all, he's gone. Like nobody's ever seen him again. Kamala at least is showing up in grocery stores because she thinks she can be governor or maybe president again. But Joe's just been gone, right? And he was in office not long ago. So thank you, Alina, for explaining what that looks like. Oh man, see that head bob from Alyssa Slotkin? Wow. Didn't even catch that the first time around. But she was on with The View and she was, I think, calling everybody angry, petulant teenagers and saying that our brains are not fully formed. Nicholas Fondacaro clipped this one for us.
Feeling in the country. I often say this, we're about to turn 250 years old, right? We're still pretty young for a country. These are our angry teenage years, right? We are going through this push and pull where we're happy, we're sad, we want this, we want that. And what do you do when you have a teenager who's threatening themselves and others? You just try to get them through this period alive so that their brain can fully form and you can come back to kind of what a country... Are you talking about Trump? No, I'm talking about our country. We're pendulum swinging. We're pendulum swinging.
All right, so they're still trying to figure it out. That former CIA agent, probably current CIA agent, trying to explain to the ladies on The View what's going to be happening, but we also have more afoot. The Department of Education might be next. You can see CBS News was reporting that they were told that offices will be closed on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. Here's why. Staff at the DOE received a notice on Tuesday instructing them to leave the building by 6 p.m. local time and take your things, saying all department offices as well as regional offices will be closed on Wednesday, according to an email they got. The email came from this guy called James Harefield of the Office of Security, said that the offices will be closed for security reasons. Staff with approved telework agreements were told they can work from home. Bring your laptops home with you. They said employees will not be permitted to return in any education facility on Wednesday, March 12th, for any reason at all. Offices will reopen on Thursday, at which time in-person presence will resume. The directive comes after a lot of uncertainty. The president is expected to issue an executive order with Linda McMahon to begin the process of dissolving the department. The timing of the move, however, remains unclear. Mr. Trump has said he wants to bring the schools back to the states. Dismantling the agency has been a top priority for decades. After McMahon took her post, she sent a letter saying, we're going to be making some pretty big changes. Our job is to respect the will of the American people and eliminate bureaucratic bloat. So we'll see what ultimately happens. There was another report from this woman called Shelby Talcott. She is a White House correspondent for Semaphore, and she's saying this, says, here's a scoop. Per a person familiar, reduction in force notices for the education department expected to go out today at 6 p.m. See if that happens later tonight or if it's already gone out. Nearly half the department is expected to be eliminated. Be a good start. So says, obviously this comes as they're being closed today. Offices will be closed tomorrow, and that will be good. Maybe we'll have some good education in this country once the federal government gets out of it. Now, what we've seen here with Elon is that the liberals, who are obviously very peaceful people and just respect democracy, you know, they're doing this type of stuff to Teslas out on the streets. Andy NGO posted this, said multiple Tesla vehicles were destroyed in Seattle in a suspected arson, multiple fire bombings and shootings of Tesla stores this last month. These are far left folks urging these attacks because Democrats won't care at all. Yeah, so a little fiery, but mostly peaceful. Yeah, really pretty nice. Okay. And, you know, obviously not caring about global warming. I'm sure that's not very good for the planet to torch giant lithium batteries all over the place. Not ideal, but those are Democrats. What can you do? Now, meanwhile, Elon showed up at the White House today and brought some Teslas to visit with President Trump. And here was one exchange of Trump trying out the vehicle, baby, getting inside. Margot Martin, White House press person, shared this video of Trump hanging with Elon today.
Secret Service. Thank you.
I mean, if you actually drove it around, it would really be well.
That's beautiful. This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer. That's beautiful.
All right, the president and Elon hanging out, and here was Trump talking about the cuts, the tariffs, the changes happening around the country, saying the country needs it, and we're going to be more successful in the aftermath. So if you're worried about the stocks going down, if you're worried about your crypto, this is temporary pain for long-term gain, and we're going to be entering a more foundational golden era in the soon aftermath.
What is your message, President Trump? Buying a new car while there are some folks who will see this clip at home and they are struggling with their retirement accounts down at the moment, uncertainty about work ahead.
Well, I think they're going to do great. I think our country had to do this. We had to go and do this. They've taken away, other countries have taken away our business. They've taken away our jobs. I did it initially very strongly against, as you know, China and some others in the first term, and it was a very successful term. We had no inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And then we had COVID, which we had to straighten out, so I didn't want to be doing anything with respect to other countries at that time. We did a great job with it. We handed the stock market over. It was higher than it ever was. And think of that, higher than it ever was to that point before. And nobody thought that was even possible. We did a great job, but we had the greatest economy in history. This economy, in my opinion, is going to blow it away. But what I have to do is I have to get the workers back. I have to get the factories open. We have 90,000 factories and plants are closed from what you had just prior to NAFTA, which is not very long ago. 90,000. Think of it. 90,000 factories factories and plants are closed from what it was. And it's just not right. And we gave it away. Presidents before me gave it away. And I could name every one of them. But they gave it away, and we're taking it back. We're taking our jobs back.
So people are a little bit spooked right now. Lots of changes are happening. But when America has a more foundational economy, when we're not just printing money and then having rich liberals just stash it in the stock market because they don't know what else to do with their $2 billion climate fund money or whatever, we'll have a real country again. And we're looking forward to it. And Elon's looking good, man. He's looking solid. Got all dabbed out in black MAGA, black coat, black Cybertruck, and Lil X with him in tow. So they're meeting. And of course, we're excited about the work that is coming out of their brains. And we'll be here to continue to cover it. Thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for inviting a friend or family member to come over here and join us. And we'll see you back here on the next one.